On page 460, we're going to start with number 1. A coin is tossed 50 times, and it lands on heads 28 times. Notice that there are 3 parts to this problem. For A, it says find the experimental probability of the coin landing on heads. Experimental means what? What should happen or what did happen?
What could happen.
No. Experimental is what did happen. And so what did happen? When they flipped it, how many times did it land on heads?
28.
28 out of how many? Out of how many?
50.
How do you know those are the numbers to use? That's what it says, okay? So experimental is what did happen. Theoretical is what should happen. Okay, so if you don't know the difference, I would write that. Did happen, should happen.
Do we reduce them?
Yes.
14 25.
14/25 because we're reducing to lowest terms. Good work. Question about experimental. It's what did happen. B says find the theoretical probability of the coin landing on heads.
Which is
Well, how many ways?
should. No, should.
Yes, it's what should. How many ways can a coin land on heads?
50.
How many ways can it land on heads? 1. Out of how many total ways can a coin land? 2.
Oh, yeah.
Now, It says for C, so this is what should happen. About half of the time it should be heads, right?
Yeah.
Now it says compare the probabilities in exercises A and B
See?
for letter C. So for comparing, we have to look at both of them. Which one's bigger, which one's smaller, and how do you know? What do you think, Zach? How are you going to compare those numbers? That is a brilliant idea. If they have the same denominator, then I can see which one's bigger and which one's smaller. I can't go to 25, can I? But we could go to 50. So if this was 50, 2 times what number is 50?
25.
If I multiply the top number by the same, I get 25 out of 50.
So it would be 28.
So
It's bigger.
my theoretical probability says it should be 25 out of 50. My experimental probability says it's 28 out of 50. Which one's bigger?
28.
So what am I going to say when it says compare the probabilities? What's our answer?
A is bigger.
Not A is bigger. Which probability is bigger? The
The experimental.
good. The experimental probability
Is bigger.
is it a lot bigger or a little bit bigger?
A little bit bigger.
Is a little bit bigger. Yep, than the theoretical probability. Period. You'll notice I started with a capital letter and ended with a punctuation mark because I'm writing a sentence. And sentences are sentences even in math class. Because my husband's an engineer and he has to write a report twice a year talking about the mathematical data. He has to make a chart. He has to explain what it means so that they can make predictions based on how much money they could spend. His sentences had better be capitalized and have punctuation to make sense or he's going to get fired. No pay. And then he has an unhappy wife. No shoes. Bad things. Okay? No dates. No good. Experiment means it did happen. Theoretical means what should happen. Is that getting clearer?
Yeah.
2. Let's do it. So 2 reads this way. It says the table shows the types of muffins that customers bought one morning from the bakery.
It's a poppy seed.
Poppy seed that's usually got lemon and they're little dark seeds and they're delicious. Lemon poppy seed muffins, and so they look yellowy and they have little black dots on them and they're yummy.
But then you don't need to
To get a drug test, that's right, because they have opium in them. True story. You'd have to eat a lot of lemon poppy seed muffins to have that happen.
drugs in them.
It has a trace amount of opium. True story. Thanks, Linz. What's the probability a customer bought a blueberry muffin? What's the probability that a customer bought a blueberry muffin? Is this theoretical or experimental? Did it happen or should it happen?
Should.
The table shows the types of muffins they bought one morning. Did they buy them?
Yes.
So it's what kind? What kind is it?
Experimental.
It is experimental. So they didn't ask, but you need to know. So the probability of blueberry is what? What's the probability of blueberry? Because it's experimental. 22 out of?
100.
Really? No, it's not 100.
49.
How did you get that number?
I added them.
I don't think you added right.
Yeah,
Out of
that's
50. There we go. Tell me how we got 50. How'd we get 50? You add them together. You could do 11 25ths. Could. Now it says if 100 customers buy muffins tomorrow, how many would you expect to buy a banana muffin? Whoa. Is this experimental? Hold on. Is this experimental or theoretical?
Theoretical.
This is theoretical, but it's based on what? Based on experimental. So we're going to base our what should happen on our what did happen. What kind? Are we using this fraction? Are we using this fraction? Are we asking about blueberry muffins for part B? No, we're asking about what kind?
Banana.
Banana muffins. So the probability of a banana muffin,
Multiply.
how many banana muffins were there?
There was 11.
11 out of?
2.
11 out of how many?
50.
Shh. Is this theoretical or experimental? Is this what did happen or what should happen?
What did?
This is did. This is experimental. Are we done? No, we didn't answer the question. What's the question asking? What's the question asking? How many would you expect? So we're looking for a what? We're looking for a fraction. Is it going to be experimental or theoretical? Theoretical, because it's what should happen. How do we do that? We're looking for theoretical. If we know this many people bought banana muffins today, how are we going to figure out if there's 100 people, how many people should be buying bananas? Morgan? Ooh, you could do that. You could say, well, I'm going to add together those. Does anybody have a different way? Because it would be 11 for the first 50 and 11 for the second 50. Does anybody do it differently than that? Brennan? By? Good. So she had 2 of them. And here's why, Morgan. Sometimes they might say 400 or 700, and then we'd have to add so many. We can always do it in one step if we multiply. So it's 2 times bigger. So how many total banana muffins would you expect?
2200.
Not 2,200 banana muffins. That's ridiculous. Just 22. So it's 22 banana muffins.